Right. And we're back. Freshly out of combat, dead Fomorian, freshly relieved of his toenails. You did that last time. What are we doing, gang? Some investigation, I assume.
Yep. I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I've done my part, Wade. I think it's time you do your expertise.
With
whatever that magic bullshit is in the pit.
Oh.
So there are a few things that strike your attention. Obviously, the magic bullshit down in the pit. It's about 20 feet down from the level of the soil to the top of the crystal, and then even another 10 to 15 feet down to the bottom of the excavation site, where it's resting flat on some stone down here, which I think, Learas, that would strike you as odd. A large piece of stone out here in the middle of the bay. Most of this island, to your knowledge, is largely sand. Other things that strike you as odd, well, at least struck Vix as odd, nothics camping.
Yep.
And there appears to be a book of some sort open on the table immediately next to you, Learas.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the book.
All right.
What I'm just gonna look over his
do
shoulder.
both of you read?
What languages can I read?
Yes.
Common, Primordial, Elvish.
Common.
I don't know if there's a written Thieves' Cant. Probably not.
I'd say so. Like
Common,
little
Elvish,
symbols.
and Celestial.
Well, the two of you recognize that this is written using the Elvish script, but it's completely unintelligible. It seems like gibberish.
Oh. Is this... This must be how Aneth reads this.
It's some form of Elvish, but I'm not familiar with it.
Call back.
I've heard of this working before. Melloc.
Nothing happens.
It was worth a
That'll
shot.
work.
is it Limrock?
Limrock. What's Limrock?
I don't know what Melrock is. I figured if you just switched around the syllables, maybe something else might happen.
Sometimes it works.
It's I don't read Elvish. Is that what does like the book even, what does it read like?
What languages do you have?
Not that.
Then
I have primordial. I have primordial, so that's, I don't know why everybody's got more languages than me. So unfair. Resistance the cold. Go ahead.
There are some things, if you take a moment to like flip through this book, there are some things that you recognize as like magical instructions, spell formulas for some kind of involved ritual, but the notes and any sort of instructions that are written, it appears to be like written as though one would write a spell book or a set of instructions with notes on the side, arcane diagrams, but it's not really that intelligible on its surface. Any sort of language. Make an Arcana check for me, Wade.
Not rolling high. That's an 11.
There's some things in here to do, like you recognize some of the symbols to do with transmutation and things like that. Given the context, it's probably reasonable to assume that's got something to do with whatever obvious magic ritual they've got set up in the bottom of this pit down here.
I can't read Elvish. You guys can probably figure it out better than me.
Well, I can't figure it out at all. It's Elvish script, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense. It's like it's a completely different language.
Well, there are some things very close to Elvish, but not quite. Maybe it's one of
But-
those, or like some magic protecting its meaning.
Is there some kind of
Would
magic
Wade
that
be
might unlock it?
Go ahead.
Would Wade be familiar with like a cipher, or perhaps Learas, given thieves' cant is similar to a cipher? Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it seem like it's a code, or does it seem like it's just a different language?
I'll have either of you just make straight intelligence checks.
All right. Can I make
Okay,
a
one.
buy one instead?
Yeah, that's fine. You can make a buy intelligence check.
That's a 22.
Mine's a 10.
Nice.
That's, right in the middle. Goes both ways.
Nice.
At any given moment, just ready.
Learas, you're who knows? Can't really say, but Wade, you are pretty positive this is not whatever's going on here, it's not enciphered. There's certain tells you can look for with like any sort of enciphered language, be it common or elvish or anything like that. Certain characters will pop up with known frequencies. That's not happening here.
I think Bix knows, but Cam is too fucking dumb, so.
I thought, given the fact that it doesn't, like, you two aren't making heads or tails of it, that it might have been like a cipher of some sort, but I mean, just looking at the symbols, it doesn't look that way.
Well,
Yeah, I
maybe,
have my doubts. There are other languages that use Elvish characters. It's been around a long time.
maybe we bring this back with us.
And now that you said exactly what it is, Shanks, it is some other language that's using Elvish script.
Hopefully it's giant, because I know someone that might read it.
Could be. Although,
I'm
from
thinking
your experience,
Sylvan.
Giant does have its own script. That's similar
fair
to
enough.
Dwarvish.
I don't know them that well, so I'm guessing.
But someone could use Elvish letters to write giant words.
I suppose. I mean, I can use English
These words
letters
look pretty
to write
small, though, if they
Japanese.
fit in a book.
Wow.
Is this like a medium person book or like a Fomorian sized book?
This is like a medium person size book.
It's the size of a medium person.
Mhm.
This book's huge.
Right,
okay.
Cam, you're gonna have to carry it. These crystals. Would I don't know, is that like an Arcana check, or
Oh fuck! I bet
We
I know
need to,
what it
like,
is.
dispel each one? How does that work?
The individual, like you're talking about the purple ones, the blue ones, or
Yeah,
all the
purple
ones?
Blue seems okay to me, right?
I wonder. Well, we should maybe take a closer look at them and really figure out what's happening before we start messing with anything. Right?
Sure.
Even a little bit of insight into what they're trying to accomplish might help us to intercept whatever their plans are.
Absolutely. I mean, what type of, like, is that? I mean, if I used like one of those ritual, like identify or detect magic, would that help at all?
Probably. Depends on what you cast it on.
Purple crystal. I don't know. I don't know if that's dangerous or not. I can try.
Identify shouldn't be dangerous, I wouldn't think.
All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna suggest that Cam, like both you and Cam, stand apart and get ready to cast a spell if anything weird happens.
Okay. I'm just gonna wait. How far do I have to be for that to work? Oh, 120 is not bad. Yeah, she's gonna back up quite a bit then.
You do need to be able to see it, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's down in a pit.
Oh, is
Yep.
it? Okay, well then
It
she's
is.
gonna she'll kind of back up from the ledge a little bit, and then just enough that she can still see it.
Sounds good. Wade, you head down in there?
Yep. Time to touch some magic bullshit in a pit.
Nice. So as you get closer, you can see that around the base of the larger blue crystals in the center of the excavation, there is a very faint magical circle that has been scratched into the rocks that is connecting to 4 smaller ones inscribed around each of the purple crystals in the 4 different directions. It's apparent to you when you get here that these purple crystals have been brought and placed here, but the blue one does not seems to have been here much longer, just based on there's still dirt in some of the cracks on the crystal, whereas the little purple ones are not firmly affixed to the stone and are not covered in dirt.
Have we run across any other magical circles like this? Is this new to me?
This
Us?
would be new to you, yeah, because you've run across other magical circles, but none like this.
Is it... How intricate is this magical circle?
It looks pretty involved.
Is he able to tell like the school of magic or anything?
Yeah, also spending a little bit of time, no check necessary. There's a lot of transmutation going on and a little bit of conjuration.
That was exactly what I was expecting to hear.
Would I be able to trace this circle onto like my spell book for, I don't know, if just learning, or if we want to
you can try and make a copy of it, depending. Like, you can spend a while making sure you get it right, or you can roll for it to try and do it quickly.
How long do I think it would take to make like a good...
Let's see. Confidently, probably 45 minutes to an hour to make sure that you capture all the intricacies.
Do I think that one of my other companions would be... I'm going to go up and ask him, like, hey, are either of you better at drawing?
Learas is pretty good at drawing.
If you saw that...
I have been practicing a little bit.
That magical circle down there.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get a closer look at the stone anyway, so I can come down and try to do that for you if you're busy.
If you want, you can
doing magic.
Make a copy of it in the spell book here.
All right, I'll give it a shot. Can I do like a sleight of hand to try to? It's drawing. I don't know.
That's usually what I use.
I think, yeah. What sort of bonus, if any, does Learas have to Arcana?
+2.
Okay. I will say, for the purposes of this, you're proficient in sleight of hand.
I'm actually not. I'm just very
Okay.
dexterous.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't think any of my proficiencies would be applicable here. Perception, but that doesn't really.
It enables it. You know what? I'll say sure. It's going to be a little bit harder, just because you're kind of lacking the magical knowledge that would facilitate this. But
For
yeah,
sure.
I'll say you can use sleight of hand.
All right. Let's go. That is going to be a 12.
All right. You spend, say, about 20 minutes copying it down.
Okay. Yeah.
Scratch into a book.
Cool. While he's doing that, I mean, like it's pretty intricate, but I'm also kind of like you said that it seems weird that there's just this solid rock formation. Can I like tell anything about it? Like, is it?
Make me either a nature or medicine check.
Interesting. Those are both gonna be not great for me, but man, I am not rolling well. That's gonna be a 12 again for medicine.
Good number.
Just slightly better than nature.
I will say with a 12 medicine, I gotta write down that you got a 12 to transcribe magic circle here. So with the 12 on medicine, there's one thing that strikes you while you're working down here is that the place, it probably wouldn't come to your mind if it wasn't for the placement of these 5 pillars at this strange distance around this central pit. But as you're working down here, the placement of the pillars together, coupled with the creases in the rock beneath you, it feels like you're standing in a hand that's kind of being held like this.
That's kind of concerning. That they were digging this up.
Yo. We might have to do some excavating, but okay. I'm taking note of that, and Wade should be done his ritual by now, I assume.
Yeah. Wade, you cast Identify on one of the purple crystals involved in this magic circle, and it comes back with a number of properties. This isn't necessarily like a magic item per se, but it is an item that is suffused with magic, as though that distinction matters. I will, at some point later, send you a list of all the different properties that these crystals have, but much similar to the Omerite that you investigated before. This has lots of useful, like raw magic properties stored within it. You could channel some of the energy embodied in one of these to cast a spell at a higher level without having to use the higher level spell slot. So like free 1 level upcast. You could probably consume the energy within it for some useful properties if you needed to replenish some of your arcane energies, but there might be some side effects depending on how that goes. So it confirms a lot of the things you learned about Omerite from the Crystal Archive at the old giant fortress last night.
While they're doing that, can Cam be... She's like twofold, trying to walk around since we know that some of our enemies got away alive. So she's keeping an eye out for that, but she's also going to kind of scan the tents and stuff that are around the dig site as well to see if there's anything worth noting.
Yeah, make a perception or investigation for me.
That'll be a natural 20 for a 24.
Nice.
Ooh, very nice indeed. All right. Got to find you something special for that natural 20. 1 moment, please. The one page I don't have open currently, the loot that's here.
Ooh, there's a loot page.
Load of loot.
a page comes walking out carrying the loot. Your loot, sir.
Wow.
So, you find in here, in one of these crates that is stacked around this makeshift campsite / dig site, you find 4 regular potions of healing and let's see, where is it? It looks like there are a couple of empty bottles next to this. It looks like there may have been more at some point, but you also find 1 potion of invulnerability.
That's nice.
And then all kinds of like camp accoutrement, food, utensils, bedding, things like that. It all looks rather nice and well kept.
I don't like the idea of nothics eating with utensils.
Can you believe how much we dug up today? Remember to put these on my sheet because I never do that.
Important.
All right, she'll pick those up and just kind of keep piecing around until they're all done.
Wade, if you've finished identifying the purple ones, it might be worth trying the same with the blue one. Maybe we can learn something about, I don't know, what they're doing to it or what makes it different from the other ones.
Given the purple one, did I pick up anything about the magic circle?
I think having spent a little bit more time with it now, and having cast Identify, there is something set up here that is attempting to basically, you gather what they're trying to do here is use these purple omerite crystals to reattune the blue crystals to be resonant with. Actually, yeah, you cast Identify on it. You said you understand now that these purple crystals are resonant with the far realm, and they are attempting with this ritual to reattune the blue crystal to also be resonant with the far realm.
Perfect. That is, I mean, awful, but at least I understood what was going on.
And you also gather that it didn't work. And you gather, let's say we'll keep that 22 from before. The light that you saw, the light that was reported in town, it seems like they probably tried a few times to have this ritual work, but for reasons unknown to you and presumably unknown to them, there's some interference or other inhibition on this ritual working.
Well, I turn to Learas. I mean, we can't just leave this here.
No.
And, like, I mean, when we go, they're probably going to come back.
So what do you suggest?
I don't want to, just because, you know, my inclinations towards magical things of value. I almost want to suggest dispelling the blue one. Or I wonder if there's a way to, like, if they're trying to attune the blue one to the far realm, if there was a way to reverse it to reattune the purple ones.
Theoretically, that should be possible.
Reattune them to the Fey realm, was it?
Yes.
Well, the purple ones, they were brought here, right?
Yes.
So we can just take them. They would need to gather. It would at least slow down the process. The blue ones are still in their natural state, which is fine. Although something that's been bugging me is this stone. Don't ask me why. Something about this seems like a hand. I don't know. I don't know what's buried under here. But if these crystals are coming out of some sort of giant stone hand, there might be more to whatever this is and why they failed to attune to it than we realize.
Make a perception check for me, Shanks.
Okay. In theory, that should go well. I rolled really low though, so 14.
Hey, 14 will do it. If you get up close with these crystals while you're in the process of transcribing this magic circle to the best of your ability, there's nothing about the way that these crystals are placed here that says to you that they are growing out of this rock. It's almost like they're just resting on it.
I mean, that fair. That does change my perception of it, but it's still just as curious.
Yeah.
Why were they just left here on this stone hand and buried under the ground? Unless we had time to dig this up and find out if this is some sort of statue to a god or some sort of like weird offering ritual, or if this was an ancient being turned to stone, it really doesn't help us figure out what's happening here. But needless to say, I'm unsettled by this whole thing. I mean, this hand is bigger than that fucking giant we just killed.
But we know that, was it the Locke? Was it Locke guy? Professor Locke? Eldon Locke? He was corrupted by one of the purple ones, right?
I don't know if corrupted is the right word, but one of the purple ones is the reason that he is no longer with us.
I'm just talking to Learas. Like, taking these with us doesn't sound like a bad idea. I just don't know how to transport them without mitigating their potential influence. I don't know if it's like direct physical touch or proximity.
How big are these, the purple ones?
The purple ones about like this.
Okay.
Little, about the size of a loaf of bread. Maybe a little bigger. Not much though.
All right. Well, I'm just going to I'm going to touch one real quick, see if anything happens.
You do that. It's kind of cold,
What are you, Cam?
but that's fine.
I didn't think it would do anything. I really believe nothing would happen. Yeah, I'm going to open up my backpack and very quickly chuck all 4 of them in.
There you go. Your backpack is pretty full now, but
Yep.
they fit.
I'll take them for now, and if anything happens to me, you know not to carry them.
Okay.
I'm the least magical of the 3 of us. I feel like I'm the least likely to set them off or do whatever they're gonna do.
Do we just leave the blue one here? What? Because I don't know if they could just come back here with more of these crystals.
You're
Try
right.
it again.
You're absolutely right, but what do
Actually,
we do?
Do I have anything to like fuck with this pit?
You do have create or destroy water.
Now it's a mud pit.
I mean, if he casts it a few times.
Yeah.
Or just cast
Are
it
there
at
any
it?
shards of like blue crystal that we could take? Like, is there anything that would be, or is it just like one
What is-
massive formation?
There are lots of smaller pieces. You might be able to break one off.
Take one of those chunks and upcast the hell out of it.
I'm wondering if I just try to channel the power of the large one and just create as much water as I can.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it wouldn't do you any harm to be in the pit while that happens. So
It's a lake
Yep.
now.
yeah,
Are
I
we
mean,
okay with trying that?
it would take them forever to frickin' get the water out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
try that.
what do you think about that?
She peers down the hole. Sorry, what?
I'm gonna go up the ladder or whatever, and like, what do you think about me just like trying to supercharge a create water spell with this large crystal?
I think that sounds pretty awesome.
I think we're all
Okay,
in
that's the
agreement then.
plan,
I would very much like to see it.
and that's what I'm gonna try to do.
All right. So from that identify, you gather that you need to be touching the crystal to effectively channel it.
Okay, we'll go down.
All right, and so you place your hand on part of the crystal, and this feels much warmer than the surrounding environment. Not hot enough to burn you, but noticeably warmer. Can you please make for me first an Arcana check, and then we'll see how that goes.
So 5.
5. Great. Can you make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
I don't want to, but I can.
Thank you.
That's 19.
19. Okay. So the good news is, wow. Okay. The good news is you made the save and the spell goes off, and you just. How does it look when Wade effectively casts create water at 9th level?
How much water with that, so that's...
It's gonna
What?
it's enough to fill up this pit.
I mean, I just imagine like a column of water just falling on top of over his head.
Yeah. So just coupling some of the residual magic from the control weather spell that Wade was managing to channel yesterday from that magic circle. The clouds just all of the surrounding clouds in the area just concentrate right over this pit and just dump all of their water at one moment, filling it, overfilling it, running into the camp a little bit. Wade, channeling this much energy through your body all at once, that would have been with that Arcana check, that would have been 47 points of force damage, but that is fortunately halved to 24 as this just raw Arcana unleashed from the Feywild finds its way out into the world through you. That was 4d10. I rolled 2 10s, a 9, and an 8.
Wow.
Nice. Nice.
So you also see like some of Wade's skin start to like glow even more blue than it is as some cracks run up the arm that is in contact with the crystal while he's channeling this magic.
Are you okay? I can see your crack.
I think in response to seeing that, almost like instinctually, Cam is going to probably only Learas hears it, but it just sounds like almost like the thrum of a harp comes out of her mouth, and she's going to cast a 2nd level healing word on Wade in response to that. And that's 16 healing damage.
But yeah, you are now at the bottom of a 35-foot deep pit full of water. And those of you above ground, I think, Wade, you're probably a little bit discombobulated from this energy, but the two of you above ground can see the faint glow that the crystal was going off dim a little bit. It's still got that sort of glow about it, but it is noticeably dimmer now.
Is he coming out? I don't.
Wade will swim up to the surface of the watery pit now.
He's not waiting then.
Wow.
Well, there is a ramp
Guys.
down into the pit, but the Fomorian fell on it.
Guys, did you see that?
That was incredible. I've never seen someone conjure so much water before. Not even after a night of drinking.
Well, it's really wet now.
Yeah. No, you made that hole really wet, Wade.
God damn it.
Kaz, get in here.
Would I know what level I cast that spell at, or would it just be like...
I think you would just know that that is more magic than you have ever channeled in a single day put together.
That was something.
Are you okay? You seem to have this like crazed look in your eye, like as if you really enjoyed that.
Well, I mean, like, like when you cast spells, right, Cam?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, let's think about another way to put it. Like, imagine if you walked into a room filled with like all of the shiny things.
Okay. I want to touch all of them.
Imagine like how would you'd be excited, right?
That's how you feel right now.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't cause a problem for you because I'm always thinking about shiny things. Are you always going to be thinking about more and more magic now?
I mean, I'm always thinking about magic. Like, imagine how all of the different magical things we've come across. It's hard not to think about magic.
I don't think much about my magic, I will be honest. It just sort of happens.
I don't really have to think about mine much either. Just, yeah, like Cam said, it just
sort
sort
of
of
happens.
happens. It's just because I'm so connected with nature.
And mine
Well, I'm just
because
glad.
my dad is a unicorn or something.
Every time you need to cast a spell, like in the middle of the night, Cathmore wakes up like, what does she want? Okay.
I think you mean.
Yeah, he doesn't give himself the ability to talk while he's in that form.
Speaking of nature, I have an experiment I want to test out, and then I have an idea just to make sure that this doesn't, immediately have people come back and just start doing things again.
Well, you're so full of surprises today, Learas.
Am I?
Well, it's just normally you're telling me not to touch things or mess with things, and now here you are.
We've been around a lot of these crystals. I've seen them safely handled.
Okay.
I have no intention of trying to use them. I think that's the difference.
Was that a jab at me?
A little bit, yes.
Well, I think that we've gone on a lot of very cool adventures because of me.
Yeah, and almost nobody's gotten hurt because of it.
Almost, yes. Well,
Hey, you've got a giant friend because of it.
That's true. That's true. Learas is going to kneel down at the edge of the water. And I really don't expect this to have any results, but I'm really curious. That water skin I have that's full of the heavy water, I'm going to squeeze out a little drop of it into the water and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And you can see it kind of... have you ever got coffee in like a clear glass, like in a glass rather than a mug, and you pour some milk into it, and how it kind of sinks to the bottom and then swirls around? Yeah, it starts to drop and kind of mix a little bit with the water.
Doesn't turn
and
the
eventually
water thick or anything?
Not appreciably.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, yeah, overall the density technically increased, but not remotely.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious if it was like transferable. But now I know it's not a danger. I didn't want to use it on like a water system that actually matters. Okay. Well, experiment completed. Unsatisfactory results. Now, let's find some birds. And he starts looking around for any birds that he think might be, particularly fast, or any birds at all if my choices are limited, but...
Yeah, you don't have to wait too long until you see a seagull fly overhead.
Seagull will do. Actually, I prefer if I can find any nested near the campsite.
Okay.
That'd be like preferable.
The Brooklyn accent, preferably.
Yeah. So in the immediate vicinity of the camp, you don't feel, you sort of tune in, to nature, and you don't hear anything in the immediate vicinity of the camp.
Mhm.
Gather that whatever the activity that's been going on here has probably been going on for a little while.
Right.
And scared some off, but a little bit further afield, you'd be able to find one.
Yeah, I would like to cast Speak with Animals and talk with them, please.
All right. Yeah, you find a small nest of plovers nearby.
Oh. The seagull is an asshole. He's like, yeah, Learas looks up. He's like, yeah, I know that guy. He's an asshole. I'll find someone nested nearby. Hello there.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh. I don't mean to bother you. There's some troublesome, scary creatures just over there. Yeah, you remember
the
them?
loud one.
Yeah, they weren't very nice, were they?
Loud, scary, big.
Yes, exactly. So that's why we've taken care of them. They won't bother you anymore.
They're gone.
Yes.
Good. Worried about them.
Well, now you don't have to. Although, I don't think they're the only ones that exist. So, here's the possibly. We're going to be leaving now. We're heading southwest towards the town. Do you know what the town is?
Town?
Lots of people with big stone nests.
Yeah.
Okay. We're heading towards that. Should any other big scary creatures show up here, you can fly southwest and find me. I'll come back and I'll get rid of them.
Okay.
Okay, great. That's all. That's all I needed.
All right.
All right, so Learas chirps at a tree for a couple minutes. And then he says, all right, we've got it covered. This plover is going to come find me if anyone comes back to this site.
While you were talking to the bird, I'd walk up to Kay and be like, can you imagine if that was fireball instead of create water?
Oh, but you have the ability to shape it around you, right?
Yes.
Well, let's just be glad that it wasn't. Man, look at
How's the plover doing?
He's great. He's happy that these guys are gone.
I am too.
Yeah, me too. But if that Nothic brings any more of them back, then we'll come back and we'll deal with them again.
It was a little bit troubling to watch it leave. And the whole fact that they're just camping here is very weird, right?
It's weird. Yes, I always thought they were more of a, I don't know, nocturnal, subterranean kind of thing with their big eye and everything. But here they are in broad daylight. It's very strange.
I also found I found some potions here, and she's going to pull out the invulnerability potion. This one seems very interesting compared to the healing ones that I found.
So,
well, actually, would Cam know that about it, or would she have to spend some time with it?
Roll a d20.
Okay. That's a 12.
Yeah, we'll say over the course of this, Cam would have been able to determine its properties. She had some downtime.
Well, I think that it'll help you be resistant for a short amount of time to every sort of damage.
That would be incredible.
Especially if we know that we're going into something dangerous, you know? You and I are always at the front lines.
Yes, I've been battered by just about everything we fought so far. Except this Fomorian. It only really clipped me that one time. For a lot of damage, but still.
So I think next time we have some time to prepare, and we're a little bit worried about that. We should probably keep that in mind.
Would come in handy.
So what do we do now? We've talked to birds. We've filled a hole with water. What's our next thing?
I mean, those were the
primary things that we came to do here.
Okay. Well, I guess we head back then, unless there is a place north of here that I was considering checking out. I don't know if we need to go urgently anywhere else.
I mean, we'll have to wait until we have a boat back anyway. So I don't think there is any huge rush.
David, you said I could make some checks to like figure out what I know about this place.
Yes. Make a history check for me, and I'm going to adjust the DC based on the fact that you are who you are.
I am who I am. The history check is going to be a whopping 14.
Okay, cool. So you would know, just based on your interest in kind of what happened to your family and your family's charge in relationship with the Bay, that Desperation Slough is so named because if you're entering in through the Illumis Inlet to go to anywhere within the Bay, this is like the very first place that you can stop at for supplies, repairs, land, anything like that, with a deep enough water dock to service a large ship. But the people who lived here also knew that and charged accordingly.
Right.
So you kind of needed to be desperate to land there.
Fair enough. Okay.
It was never very big, and there were people there who were, very happy to charge you exorbitant rates for things.
Do I know anything about what happened to this place? Is it, like, I imagine if it's in ruin if people left this island completely.
Yeah, kind of the same thing that happened to everywhere else along the Bay, but probably a little bit worse. As the shipping dried up, so did the village.
All right. Well, there's an old dock north of here called Desperation Slough, and it's likely to be abandoned, but who knows? Maybe we can open up another port for the people to repopulate the island. Maybe we can find something useful. Hell, maybe there's a boat there that's being unused. It's worth checking out. Of course, I did just tell that bird we're heading south, but I don't think this will be too long of an... I don't think this will be too far out of our way. Well, I said we'd go where we're heading back to town, and we will. But I do want to... It's nearby, and we, like you said, we need to wait on a ship anyway.
It's about 2 miles from here, so assuming you have a ranger with you who knows how to navigate in the woods, that probably get there in an hour tops.
I mean, I figure we should get the most out of our trip here.
Yes, exactly.
Or-
We don't know when we'll be able to come back.
All right. To Desperation Slough.
Yes.
Yeah, so anything else to do here before we pack up and move out?
We stole the nothics utensils. We made the hole really wet.
Got their book.
I stole their book.
You got a rock. 4 of them.
I took their dangerous magic crystals, and they're all in my backpack.
We filled the hole to deal with the fact that we were leaving the blue one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make it more inconvenient should they try to return.
All right. But I don't think anything.
I also made the water imperceptibly thicker.
Although I say
ever so slightly harder for them to do it.
With your knowledge of water and physics, that you would suspect that given enough time, the water will probably cause the walls of the excavation pit to collapse at least a little bit.
That'd be nice. I don't know what their digging methods were. I probably know it's reinforced or some shit.
Just an open pit. You gather that their digging method was probably Fomorian.
Fair enough. So he wasn't like the brains of, or she or whatever, wasn't the brains of the operation here. They were a worker?
Seems to be.
Interesting. I thought the Fomorians were more behind this than anything.
Yeah, but
Right,
this one
but-
seemed weird. Like it was fucked up, sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think there's anything else we can do here. Let's move on. Follow
Right,
me.
yeah, you spend the better part of the next hour traversing through the woods here towards Desperation Slough. The closer you get to it, you can see Learas, particularly like remnants of cut trees that have been grown up around by newer, younger trees. It looks like they probably would source lumber for ship repairs from these woods, making
Right.
it one of the first places where there's trees available to repair your boat with. But yeah, it goes largely without incident. Are you keeping an eye out for anything while you're walking here?
Yeah, I mean, certainly want to be aware that there's nothics out here
Yep.
at the very least, and maybe more Fomorians. So,
Yeah, make a perception check for me.
absolutely, that's at 25.
That's a 9 for me.
Very nice. Then the question is, are you going back out to the road and north, or just going straight through the woods?
That's straight through the woods. Yeah.
You got it. Every so often, until you get maybe about half a mile away from camp, you see an occasional footprint in the sandy soil here that kind of looks like you're on the trail of the Nothic. But after about half a mile or so, it goes cold, or perhaps it diverged and you didn't see where. But it was heading this general direction. Apart from that, not a whole lot seems out of the ordinary as you walk through this coastal forest. And you can see, as the trees start to thin, some largely remnants of structures. It looks like this place is in much rougher shape than even the abandoned structures in Harbor Watch. Kind of hard to say why from here. It doesn't look like anything in particularly destroyed them. It's not like burned out husks of buildings. It just looks like time and collapse. But there is one structure, looks like a little shack, that seems to be in a bit, it's still pretty rough, but it's in a bit better condition than some of the other buildings.
It's Rowan's house. No, I'm just kidding.
I would like to sneak up and take a peek inside, please.
All right. Make a stealth for me, please.
All right. Should be a good one. That's going to be a 25 again.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So you sneak up to the outside of this shack. And as you get closer, you can smell some smoke from a fire, and you can hear the sounds of a creature occasionally shuffling around, moving very little inside. As you get closer, you can see not their face, but you can see the tip of a crossbow pointed out the window in the general direction of your party.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone's holding it, they're not reacting to you.
I'm wondering what the best way to deal with that is. But it's pointed generally where I left them.
Yeah.
I'm going to, with my dagger, cut the bowstring.
You just hear some screaming from inside, and the sound of somebody falling back flat on their ass from
in common.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. Very quickly, then Learas is just going to stand up and like appear in the window. I'm very sorry. I don't mean you harm. You were pointing out my companions.
You see this like middle-aged man with a long beard and messy hair, wearing like tattered clothes, just like scurry back on his feet away from you.
I'm very sorry to have surprised you. I heard someone in here, came to investigate.
I thought you were one of those eyeball monsters.
We had a similar concern.
Next time you can just announce your presence. You don't have to go destroying people's crossbows. Who in the hell are you?
Okay, all right. As I said, we had similar concerns, and I can fix your crossbow. I'm a ranger. My name is Learas Zemali. I'm a protector of this entire bay.
Just gathering himself together. Wilbur Weiss, I guess.
Wilbur, nice to meet you.
Seen anybody since I got here. That's kind of the point.
Well, Wilbur,
Now Alex W names.
And this one was alliteration too, so which I have to consciously tell myself not to do because I'll do it with every fucking name. Wilbur, we don't mean you any harm. What is it you're doing out here exactly?
Living. Mostly.
Why so far away from society?
Never really did fit well for me. Society,
Okay.
that whole thing.
I guess I can understand that. I do spend most of my time out in the wilds.
There's not supposed to be a lot of people on this island. Been out here for... And it looks over, and there's some like tally marks scratched into 10 years.
10 years on your own like this. And you've never seen any other person here.
Oh, every so often. Till a few months ago when those eyeball monsters started showing up.
Months. Yeah.
They've been here for months. Good to
Hmm.
know. There was a whole camp of them in the woods to the south.
I've been seeing the lights. They're up to something.
Yes, we've put a stop to it.
Good.
Oh, by the way, it's safe, guys, and he calls you two over.
Oh,
That's our cue.
hello.
Hi,
I'm Cam.
Wilbur. We haven't
Oh.
spoken to anyone in nigh on a decade.
Oh, I know what that's like.
You do?
Well, you still seem.
Um,
Oh, you-
yes, I actually grew up in the mountains. So it didn't see many people, sometimes for years at a time.
Mhm. Sounds like you do know then.
I do a lot of training in the mountains myself. I think I've probably gone 9 months without seeing someone before.
It's a while.
It's not 10 years, though.
The views seem a little bit better. I was kind of gesturing around at, like, he's in a shack.
By the way, if you wanted to hand me a crossbow, I will fix it for you.
It's still like he dropped it out of the window.
Oh, okay.
It's still on the ground outside.
Oh, I'm sorry. You dropped it here. He gets it and wipes a little bit of mud off it, and then he kind of decocks. I guess it would decock itself.
Yeah.
In that process, but just making sure the latch is forward, so it's not arming it. He'll put the two bits of the bowstring together and cast mending. There you go. Good as new.
That's a useful trick.
It has served me well in my months and months away from society. Clothes get torn, blades break.
You just have to scavenge like a regular person.
Have you scavenged anything of interest? Is there anything left here in town that might be useful?
I guess it depends on what you would find useful. If you need bits of wood, metal fittings, things like that. There's lots of people's belongings still here.
Probably not then. Are there any ships still in the docks?
Not any that you want to go to sea on, that's for sure.
It
Got
was
time,
worth a
might be
shot.
able to be fixable. Boat that
even
brought
with-
me here is still out there.
Oh, well, that might be something. It's only 10 years old.
Have you been experiencing any problems with sea creatures coming up on shore?
Now that you mention it, there have been some really large crabs around in the evening.
Oh,
Yeah,
From
they
time
can
to time.
be a pain, but there's something even bigger that tends to be around when they're around, and that's not something you want to trifle with, I assure you.
I don't want to trifle with those crabs. They just stay in here, stay silent, they leave me alone.
Well,
You're
as far
just-
as those... Sorry, go ahead.
You're just out here chasing eyeball monsters, is that it?
Yes, well, not to put too much of the specifics out there. They are up to something pretty nefarious, and we've been tracking them and putting an end to their little game wherever we can find them.
we filled a large hole with water, and then in a different place, we took the water out of a hole so that we could go down there. It's been quite an interesting journey up here.
Can't say I've ever done anything like that.
That's fair.
I mean, you drink
You
water
haven't-
all the time, right?
I guess so.
Water in, water out.
Well, I guess when you put it that way.
I suppose technically that is like that. It's not wrong.
I do feel it is a little bit more dissimilar than it is similar.
The sheer volume of water we were dealing with makes it pretty different, yes. Though, with that said, you've obviously been seeing these creatures. You don't know if there's any other camps nearby that we should know about, or...
I've been staying around here ever since I saw the first one.
Did you happen to see what direction it was going in, where it was coming from?
It and some of its friends crawled up out of the sea.
Have you engaged in a fight with any of them?
No. Smarter than that.
So you're not at risk of getting hurt out here all alone?
Well, probably. I fell down some stairs when I was trying to climb the old lighthouse. It's not very stable anymore. I haven't tried that again.
Oh. You know, getting injured when you're out on your own in the middle of nowhere like this, that could be fatal.
Could be. It wasn't.
She's gonna open up her bag since she now has like 5 healing potions. She's gonna take one out and she's gonna offer it to him. I found these healing potions while we were on our way here. I just figure, if you don't want to talk to anybody and you're all alone up here, just in case.
You're giving this to me.
Yes. I have my own healing, so it's not a huge
Very
deal for
generous
me.
of you. I very much appreciate this kindness.
It's really no problem. Is there anything else we could do to help you out here? We are here for a little bit anyway.
It's a good question. I don't suppose any of you are able shipwrights.
No,
Nope.
unfortunately. I can heal little things with magic, fix little things with magic. I can heal you too, actually. But, my magic's pretty limited, and my skill with wood is less so.
That was worth an ask.
They're both very good swimmers, so they probably don't have a lot of need for ships.
Oh, yeah. You're one of them, what do they call them? Tritons?
That's
that-
right.
I've seen some people like you walking around here as well.
You
Just
did?
a long time ago. Yeah, they were, they didn't look quite like you. They were similar.
They have like the
Um,
tentacles.
Yeah, coming off the back of their head.
Oh,
2
no.
long ones.
Did they
Sounds
just
like
walk
the
up
other
out of
ones,
the
right?
sea as well?
Yeah, they did.
I suggest staying anything that just walks up out of the sea like that.
I stay far away.
When you were at the lighthouse, did you see anything of note? Anything off or weird?
Well, I was trying to get to the top. I could see that the lens is still up there. I was trying to... And it goes to look at it, you get bored out on this side, out here after a while.
Perhaps it's worth us taking a look up there.
I would be willing to do that.
We might see something of, might see something of note, and who knows what's been left up there. It's been so long since anyone's used any of this area.
Is that lighthouse still active, or is it?
You would know that as well.
I'm gonna turn to Wilbur. Like, you don't want it active, do you? Probably to not draw attention, right?
No, the less attention, the better. I'm just out here trying to live my life. Don't want no sea creatures. Don't want no eyeball monsters. Just want a roof and something to eat.
Well, we should let you know that the people are trying to resettle this island, and we are trying to assist them. There may be a time when people are looking to resettle this place as well.
Make an insight check for me.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's a 28.
I don't know if anybody's even able to beat that. He looks very briefly, and he actually got a 22 on his check to kind of hide his emotions, but even so, you're able to pick up just briefly a little bit of alarm, consternation at that notion. That's good to know. It's good to know.
You're not by chance hiding from the law or anything, are you?
Why would you say something like that?
You just look a little scared.
Look, I came out here so I could be alone. All right?
I noticed you didn't answer my question.
Where are you from?
I'm from Crystal Harbor.
Looks you up and down. Got some disagreements with some of the people in Sabalti. If you're Crystal Harbor, that's fine.
Fair enough. Well, you don't have anything to worry about from me unless someone posts a very large bounty on you, or you happen to be some sort of dangerous monster. You're not something.
No dangerous monster here.
With. Yes, I can tell.
Insight check.
Sure.
I already did. It was a 28. All right, Wilbur. Well, you have been notified, so conduct yourself as you wish, and I hope the best for you. We are going to check out this lighthouse, I think.
Be careful.
Well, some of us will be.
You said you said the crabs come every so often. Is that like they don't come every night, or do they come like a couple times a week?
Well, recently, every so often you'd see one big one sort of rumbling around out there in the slough. They come in to feed on the little fish and things that get stuck in the shallow water when tide goes out. But last few nights, there's been more of them, and every night. I make sure I'm in here by sundown. They leave me alone. I leave them alone.
Learas, Cam, is that something?
The last few nights they've been more active. I don't know, maybe it's the pulsing from the crystal that is drawing them.
Would you be interested in clearing them out?
I'd be willing to, yes.
Maybe need to rest another night or so to replenish the magical energies and whatnot. But yeah. Lighthouse then?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Right, and we are at our halfway point for this episode, so I think we're going to take a quick break there, and then we come back. What's going on at the Spine's Guide Light?
Maple
Welcome
flavored
back.
spam.
Maple flavored spam, indeed. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around while we were on break. We were having a conversation about maple flavored spam.
As you
Among
do.
other things.
Put that together.
Vaseline.
Oh.
I told you it wasn't Vaseline.
So we rejoin our party about to depart from Wilbur Weiss's beachside shack to investigate the remnants of the Spine's Guide Light.
Yeah.
There are a couple of ways you could get there from here.
Well, that crossed my mind. If we took the direct route across the bay, we could potentially deal with the crab problem along the way.
Well, there aren't. It's notable. There are no. You don't see anything right now from where you are.
I
But
don't see anything.
no,
Nothing.
complete black. Like,
You wake up to the
perception score
cam.
is so high.
well, just
Are you
to clear,
okay?
Wilbur said he'd only ever seen them at night,
Fair enough.
usually around, especially if it's low tide.
Hmm. And how much tide does he have right now?
Well, right now it is. It is
Shrimp season?
approximately low tide at this moment.
Is it
Okay.
shrimp season?
It's not shrimp season, but I know when it starts.
But crabs never obey the rules of shrimp season. Have you
True.
noticed that? Like, we have to do it, but they just eat shrimp whenever the fuck they want. Fucking crabs.
It's unruly.
Sick of their bullshit.
This is Learas in character.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
Learas in character. He's so fucking sick of crabs. All right, well, what do we think? Cam, you may have a hard time crossing the bay with us. Should we take the long way around?
I suppose if you don't want me to sink to the bottom, that would probably be the best.
I should clarify. At low tide, there are very few places in this slough that are deep enough to cover your head.
Oh,
Oh, we're just walking across, or wading, I suppose.
yeah. If you don't mind getting a little bit wet.
I definitely don't mind being wet.
All of you banned.
Yeah. We don't deserve the responsibility of a Twitch channel, to be honest.
So we're walking and
yeah.
talking.
Yeah, if you're up to it, then yeah, we should be able to navigate this all right without too much trouble.
Now, will the... I guess that doesn't really matter. I was just going to say, like, maybe it won't cover my head, but it might cover your head. But I guess if you can swim, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know why I had to bring height into it, but you're right. It won't be an issue for me.
I'm very sorry.
It's fine. I've made peace with it. You're the one that's always talking about it.
Right. If you head in a straight line through the channel or across the channel, it's only about half a mile to the lighthouse. You can see it clearly from where you are. It looks very tall and it looks in very poor shape. Looks like one wall of it has fallen down.
It's like the opposite of Learas.
But just to see, the two aquatic people are not going to have any sort of difficulty navigating this. But Cam, if you could please make me an athletics check, because as you all start walking through this, it is just ends up being a slog through like mud and silt. And
Nothing like a slog through the slough.
Come on, die. Ooh, okay. That is a 26.
but
Ooh,
it's
hot
no
day.
barrier to Cam, and she is just able to power right through it. all that
I hate
practice
strength.
walking in the snow.
Yeah.
It's just like that, but a little smelly. And over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, you make it across the other side. And Learas, you're able to feel that while it is low tide right now, it is very gently starting to turn, and the water level is very slowly rising.
Well, the tide seems to be turning, so we may not see these crabs this evening after all.
But you find yourselves at the base of what once must have been a very impressive structure. There is still a large wooden arched door in the base of it, which is, a little bit perfunctory at this point with the wall that's missing. It's not going to be keeping anybody out. You do see it is sort of, propped open a little bit. It looks like maybe one of the hinges has failed and the door is just kind of hanging there loosely, partially open.
How tall is this structure?
You would have to guess that it's probably 100 feet tall or taller.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure I don't have to tell either of you. This is likely to be dangerous. Any part of this could come down at any moment. So keep your wits about you. I do still have that scroll of fly, so if anything goes terribly bad as we ascend, I should be able to, at least survive the situation.
I should also be okay, especially if it's like kind of not so lit in there.
It's not going to be
Lit
not going to be
fam?
lit. Not going to be outside.
This party sucks.
I don't know what the kids call the opposite of lit.
But if it's pretty dimly lit in there, I should be able to channel some of my magical energy into moving in a way that would cause me to not fall, at least.
Good. Wade, will you be capable of surviving? There's got to be something in your book just in case things come down.
Can fly.
Oh, well then, yeah, that'll do it.
Seems like we can all fly, so just do that if things go bad.
Sounds good.
All right. So, how would you like to investigate this structure? I presume you're trying to get to the top?
Yeah, though, like, who knows? Like, if it's such like an ornate kind of lighthouse, there may have been other chambers that have things of value or use to us in some way, shape, or form. So, I would propose a floor-by-floor kind of search, and, also we need to kind of check the supports of anything we move to stand on, like check each floor and stairwell kind of thing as we go. However you want to handle that. But
Sure. Yeah, we'll start on the ground floor. It looks like, there was at one time some living quarters down here. You can see remnants of that through either the doorway or the partially collapsed wall. There's some remnants of furniture. There's lots of sand that's starting to blow in from the dunes as the dunes encroach on the base of the building with nobody here to actively maintain it. And I should note, like, these, as you approach, the full scale of these dunes really is kind of difficult like comprehend from far away. As you come to the base of this lighthouse and look down, standing on the remnants of the structure that aren't covered over by sand, it looks like these dunes are a very steep escarpment going several hundred feet down to the water.
is this something that would stand out as like unnatural?
No, actually. This is a natural formation, and like anybody, especially anybody who lives in the bay itself, like your people do, would know about this formation. Anybody who studies the geography of the region would know. As far as anybody can recall, these dunes have always been here and have always been very large.
Learas is looking at it and he says, this seems to happen all over the bay, but I've always wondered, why don't they scatter, being right on the coast as they are?
Do you want to
Between
make
the tide and the... No, he's just musing with his friends.
I'm just wondering why they built a lighthouse like right next to the dunes.
Well, a lighthouse isn't very good if you put it inland.
True. I'm just going to know if there's some other way you could put it so it wouldn't get covered by sand.
Well, perhaps. But I think their choices are limited here. Perhaps if there was an island right off the shore or something, it could have been an option, but...
Maybe whoever was here... Maybe it was different before, And there's no one here anymore to upkeep anything.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I was staying here, I could, once a day, blow the dunes near the lighthouse away.
Bit of cleanup each day.
Maintenance goes a long way.
Shall we?
Oh, yeah, let's continue onward and upward.
Right. So it looks like in one of the rooms off of this main entranceway / living areas / kind of big one room residence, there's the beginnings of a stairwell, which there's some stone stairs that are set into the wall of the structure going up and making 90-degree turns along the inside of this. And there are sections, mostly near the collapsed wall segment, that are missing for a span of 5 or 10 feet or so.
Okay. Well, I don't want to burn my one and only scroll of fly on those. So just double checking something real quick. Okay. Well, I mean, the 5-foot ones I don't think would be much of a challenge for me. 10 feet. What is it? Your jump distance is? Your strength score?
It's a little bit more to it than that. Let's see. With a running start, your long jump, your horizontal long jump is your strength. And then generally you can... I'm not quite sure how the calculation works, but I do have a calculator bookmarked for the monk that I'm building. So if you want me to calculate your jump distance, I need your strength score and your height.
Strength score is 12, and my height is like, what is it, Vix?
Less than 6 feet.
5'5". It's 5'5".
So you're with a running start, you can jump 12 feet horizontally and reach something just over 12 feet in the air. Without a running start, it is less.
So 10 feet forward in a staircase would not go up 12 feet, not even remotely.
It would not go up 12 feet. It'd probably go up about, it's a good 6 feet.
Cool. All right. Then I should be able to make these jumps, no problem.
But I will say you'll be landing in difficult terrain. So that is something to consider. If you're making a jump to land in difficult terrain, it's an acrobatics check to not land prone.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, I'm happy to make an acrobatics check for that.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna jump for this one. If anyone needs any help or anything, let me know. I can maybe use rope to help you along or whatever. Yes. All right. Yeah, I will jump across and make my acrobatics check. That's gonna be a 10 because I rolled a 2.
Well, the DC is 10. So you make this jump, and it's a little bit higher than you think it's going to be. And you land just on the edge and kind of like,
all right, that was close. I'm okay.
I think I can get across it. I don't know about landing well.
Well, I'm
don't
here to
forget
catch
about
you.
your new armor.
Oh shit! What does that do again?
A dexterity check, right?
It does a dexterity check.
It does the dexterity check. Oh, yeah, it does. It gives me advantage on acrobatics. I thought it was just saving throws. I still have a +0, so let's let's temper expectation here. She's gonna yeah, she says that and she's like, though I've been finding that this like it feels like kind of like the wind is just sort of guiding me since I put this armor on, so we'll see. And she's gonna try to make a jump. I got a 10 and a 12, so
Nice. Yeah, so Cam, you also get this running start, and you feel like you land in a very similar location to where Learas did, and some of the loose stone that kicks out from under your feet, and you feel yourself starting to go backwards, but then there's a soft breeze of air that pushes against your back and counters your instability, causing you to land
my
very
hair
sturdily.
just blows.
Oh yeah.
Supermodel.
Well done. Is there anything overhead that I could loop a rope over?
Yeah, if you go far enough ahead, you could. There is like a little window on the wall of the building, with a support down the middle of it, kind of broken up into two smaller windows. You could tie a rope around that pretty easily.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll go up there and I'll tie off the rope, and then I will head back down to the edge of the stairs. And, okay, Wade, all I have to do is hold the rope. All right, jump across. All right, and I'll catch you.
Do you want me to catch him?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. If you think you're up to it.
I'll definitely try.
Love the vote of confidence.
Then Wade, what is your strength score?
Thanks for asking. It's an 8.
All right. So I am going to need an athletics check from Wade. The DC is 10.
Oh. I don't know if I want to do it. Is there any way for me to not make an athletics check? Can I tie this around my waist?
Rope, right? Like...
He is kind of swinging on a rope, but it's anchored above him, and there is a gap, so he won't fall.
Right. If he
necessarily
ends up missing, he just has to go back and try again. Really, but...
he'd sort of be dangling from a rope, sort of halfway smashed against some broken stairs.
That's a 5. So
all right.
That.
Yeah. So Wade runs up and tries to make this jump, but not really his forte. And you all can see some of that loose rock that is like remnants from the falling building that's coating these stairs kicks out from under his feet as he's trying to jump and ends up sending him tumbling forwards. Fortunately caught by the rope, which was a
good
good
fun,
move.
Guys.
There's no damage that you take from this unless you would like to take some pride damage.
Oh no, Wade holds no pride in regards
cool.
to strength-related activities.
That's fine then. But Cam and Learas, the two of you working together don't even need to make a check to try and hoist him up. Cam, you could probably do it by yourself.
Yeah, she'll just immediately start helping him.
Yeah. So with their help, Wade, you're able to get... My dog just did something weird. You're able to get hoisted up onto the stairs.
I did not have the same thought.
I don't know. We've been married too long, or not long enough. All right. See, that wasn't so bad. I did warn you it'd be a little troublesome, but we got you here.
Yeah, we did it.
All right. Well, one floor accomplished.
Yeah, and you can see kind of the rest of the way up. There's not really a whole lot of rooms here. There's like little landings occasionally. There's like, you can see a few rounds the lighthouse up. There's a landing with a table that has had one of its legs fall off and is kind of fallen over with a chair sitting next to it. But it looks like there's not really a whole lot to engage with until you get to the top of the tower. But having developed a method for bridging these gaps with your entire party, jumping not too much of a problem for everybody except Wade, and then having a rope for that, let's say you're able to, over the course of time, get up to the top very carefully. And, you know, it is a dangerous, unstable structure, but you're not doing it alone, which Wilbur was. So there was no rope and nobody to catch him when he tried to make that jump.
I guess he didn't do it very successfully. He must have really been bored if he was trying to do that on his own.
10 years without human contact. I imagine that could drive you quite mad.
Oh, it does.
He seemed pretty calm to me.
I just got what you meant.
Serves you right for trying to meaningfully engage with that.
Yep.
It was interesting how he was able to hold a conversation just fine. Maybe he was mad.
I don't even remotely know what you're getting at, Wade.
When you have to be mad to be able to still hold a conversation after being alone for so long?
Maybe he talks to himself, so it doesn't really matter all that much, you know? I used to make friends of like little bunnies and deer. And of course, I wasn't able to talk to them like Learas was, so it was very one-sided in the conversation. But I did develop some skill that way.
You're probably not missing too much with bunnies. They generally only think about two things, and I didn't really want to be a part of either of those things, so...
What were those two things? What? Well, you'll have to tell me later. I am very curious.
Carrots, right?
Yes, carrots was one of them, and I'm not really a fan of carrots.
I do like a certain type
Don't care for a carrot?
I don't care at all. Dating. Sure, we'll call it that.
All right. relatively short climb later, and you're able to enter the light room at the top of the lighthouse, and it strikes all of you as very strange given the rest of the shape of this building is that this room itself, the walls and the mechanism holding this massive array of lenses seems to be in perfect condition. There are 3 large circular lenses mounted on what looks to be a base that can rotate. Up here, fine brasswork holding them in, very intricate patterns for spreading the light cast into the glass, and it does not seem to have suffered any of the consequences of time or neglect like the rest of this building.
Huh.
That's interesting. Wade, do you think it's possible that this mechanism is enchanted somehow?
Yes, that is possible.
Do
Would you
think
like
could
me
determine
to-
if yes?
I shall cast a ritually cast identify, so you may search the rooms while I
will search the room.
Is it obvious where the light source or where, like, does it?
Yeah, so these 3 lenses are kind of arranged in a triangle.
Okay.
And there is, there's, because they're round lenses, they only touch in a very small place, so you can see between them into the center of this mechanism, and it looks like there is a metal column that looks like it would be a very large torch that is kind of placed in the center, but it is currently unlit. And you don't actually make a perception check for me. Why not?
Me too. May I?
Mm-hmm.
20.
18.
Yeah, both of you notice the conspicuous absence of any sort of soot or ash or anything that you would expect to see in the base of a torch.
Interesting. Perhaps it was meant to be lit by magic.
That would explain the way that it looks right now. The whole
Maybe you
thing
could
is
even just
probably magical.
Yes, but what I mean is maybe they even just put an object with a light spell cast on it.
Oh, I can try that. Should I?
It might upset our new friend Wilbur, but
Yes.
Oh, right. He didn't really want that.
I am curious, though. If I'm completely honest, I would like to see if it could be lit again and if this place could be habitable once more. But let's hold off at least for now. Was that Wade?
You wish to see if we can light the beacons.
Yes.
Now all of China knows you're here.
I want to know where Gondor was, West Foldville.
They were on the other line. Anything else?
We wanted to also search the room while he was casting his ritual.
Cool, yeah. Make your
I'll help.
investigation checks for me. With advantage, since Cam is helping.
All right, that's something. Not a lot of something. It's a 12.
A 12. Yeah, it doesn't look like there is a whole lot going on up here, other than you do notice sort of by where the stairs came into this room, there is a small panel on the wall that is of a different material than this. So most of the building here is made of stone. There is some glass encasing this room that is somehow still intact, and a metallic panel on the wall that is just a little bit bigger than your palm.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
I know you want to touch it.
Why, Are you being serious?
Perhaps I'm being curious.
I knew I would rub off on you. She's going to. She definitely wants to touch it, so.
You touch it, and it sort of depresses a little bit, but otherwise nothing happens.
That's depressing.
Har. Oh, did I do it wrong?
If you remove your hand, the panel pops back out. Just that little bit of travel that it went in, it goes.
Maybe it needs to be lit.
Maybe it needs to be lit. Maybe it needs a fuel source. Maybe it needs some other mechanism or a fail safe to be removed. I don't know.
So over the course of the next 10 minutes, while y'all are looking around this room and messing around with the panel, Wade, you finish your identify ritual on this, and from everything you gather, this is a magic item. This is not a super strong enchantment, but it is certainly enchanted. You know, there is no method of powering the mechanism to rotate it. That's largely magical. But you gather that a creature that is attuned to the lighthouse may operate the lens mechanism, and by pressing the panel on the wall can cause it to light or extinguish itself, can cause the lens to start rotating, or cause it to rotate to any sort of trajectory that they would like. And moreover, a creature that is attuned to the device and standing in the center of the lens mechanism can kind of also, while it is unlit, can cause the lens to function as a telescope for long distance viewing.
That was what I was about to ask about. Like, could I get in where the light is supposed to be and use them as a telescope? So, but you said someone would have to attune to it for it to function this way? I would love to attune to it then, and if you're all willing to give me the time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not really in a rush to get back down that way.
I mean, it wasn't so bad. Besides, going down should be a lot easier.
Wait, do you want to play like a card game or something while we wait for him?
You have cards?
I do.
Can we borrow your cards?
Absolutely. It digs around in his pack and gets them some of his cards, and then sets about attuning.
All right. It, as typical, it takes about an hour to attune. I don't think we've used many. Actually, no, you did. The fight was today, so you can get a short rest in.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
While this is happening, and unless Cam and Wade want to work on anything other than playing cards, you can roll to see who wins if you want, or you can just determine it.
She's like, when that she starts like dealing out this whatever game they're playing, which is probably something akin to like poker or Go Fish or something like that. She's like, I'm not very good at deceiving, but I will be able to read you, so you should watch out for that. And I think Cam doesn't do entirely well because she still wants to touch a lot of the things that are currently around her, so she's like very distracted, and so I think Wade like cleans up with her in that game.
Right, and I just popped some visual reference for the lens into the Discord if you want to see what you're working with.
All right.
Come on, show me.
Interesting.
You feel the connection develop to the enchantment that is existing in this device, and you feel as though you could operate it. If you would like to use it as a viewing device, you need to stand in the middle and sort of hold on to what also functions as the torch.
Okay. Yeah, Learas is going to get in there and use it and kind of look around, look to the lands to the south, see if he sees any more of these creatures or any camps where they might be doing things.
Yeah, so you grab onto this and focus your intent on viewing in a particular direction, and the multiple different plates of glass that make up this lens start to rearrange themselves and focus more into sort of a telescopic arrangement, folding in and sort of stretching out rather than being on this mostly flat plane. And you're able to see for incredible distances. From up here, you can see clear across to the east and west side of the bay.
Wow.
And you can kind of make out the general shape of the straits leading out through the Alumis Inlet into the larger sea out there, and some of the remnants of the fort that stood there.
Oh, yeah, actually, no. That's something I want to look at too. But one thing at a time.
Yes, so you are looking at the island for more nothics, Fomorians, things like that.
Yes.
Make a perception check with advantage.
Ooh. Okay.
What?
I rolled a 1 and a 4. Because my luck is just like that. I have this fucking amazing opportunity. So with a 4, that's going to be 13.
So with a 13,
unless I can use my passive, which is a 19.
Yeah, you can always use your passive. So yeah, with the 19, you scan this island and you see definitively you would be able to see a Fomorian, a giant, if it were wandering around on this place, and there is not another one of those.
Well, that's good.
Nothics, you don't see any. There's a lot of tree cover. This does have great magnification, but it doesn't do anything for transparency.
Right. Okay. And no other like camps or anything set up in these woods or
nothing
that might give the idea that there's multiple staying somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get the sense, you feel fairly confident that was their focus on this island.
Good. All right. Well, with that covered then, I would like to turn my attention to Fort Oss.
All right. Yeah, this is on the maximal range of what this allows you to resolve with any level of clarity. From here, let's see, that is 25, 50, 70. Fort Oss is between 75 and 100 miles from where you are currently.
All right.
Yeah, make me another perception check with advantage.
With advantage. Okay, this one's definitely going to be better. Rolled the same number twice, so that's going to be a 24.
24, yeah. So tell me what it is that you're looking for when you're scanning this fort, as much as you can make it out.
Yeah, I don't know how far the magnification takes me. But
so from this magnification is kind of able to make it, roughly about makes it look like an object roughly about this big, held at arm's length.
Got it. Okay. Then I guess what I am looking for is any signs of like large groups around the structure or moving back and forth on the road kind of thing. And I will follow the road away all the way to like the old way kind of thing and just see if they have any sort of armed forces moving in or out kind of thing.
Okay, so with a 24, you are able to definitively say that there is no army on the move right now. There are definitely signs of activity at the fort, as I believe Alvatende also confirmed. This is not an overgrown ruin, as you would expect it to be, having been allegedly unused for 200 years. There are, you can see a couple of trails of smoke coming up from within what would be the courtyard. And I'll say, let's roll a luck check. You're not able to make out the details of it, but you are also able to see a singular, very large humanoid moving around.
When you say very large,
Approximately giant-sized.
that's a big range, but okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's you can see it 100 miles away. I don't know what you want. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. It is taller than the walls of the fortress at its shoulders.
That's kind of what I was looking for. That's fucking massive. Okay.
Or just at least the outer wall. There's the larger structure.
I see. Okay, so not the structure, but like the outer. Okay, the defensive walls.
Yeah.
Still, I'm sure that's freaking huge. Okay.
Pretty big.
Well, there's definitely activity at Fort Oss. And I can see at least one giant wandering around, taller than the defensive walls.
So somewhere we should be prioritizing going, or are we not prepared for that sort of thing?
I don't think we're ready to face them head on. We don't even know what they're doing yet. Maybe with Alvatinde's help we'd have a hope, but
we should at least tell someone, right?
Well, I think we already told the Hall of Weave that we know there's activity there.
I suppose you don't think that this information would be more...
I don't think it would make them any more prepared to handle it than they are now, so... Also, I've checked the island. I don't see any other giants on this island. I think we have accomplished our goal and we can move on. I do need to look at one more thing, though, and I would like to direct it at the Fortune Narrows, please.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One more with advantage.
I'll do one without the cup, and I'll do one with the cup. Cup was better, so
all right.
That's a 22.
All right, and I presume Learas is looking for signs of the entity.
Yep.
Yeah. 22, you said?
Yes.
Nope. All right. See, again, this inlet, which itself is like 25 miles wide, only appears in your vision to be maybe about like this big.
Right.
Just because it's so far away, just at the very edge of what this mechanism is able to resolve. And with a 22 and the secret roll that I just made, I will say you see it's difficult to determine sort of a scale at this range, but you do see something move, and you think at first maybe it's a wave or some ripple, some large wave on the ocean, but it's not. It's moving perpendicular to the direction that you would expect it to. There's something briefly comes out of the water and goes back in. Whatever it is, it's big.
It's massive. Okay. Well, the creature's still in the Narrows, that's for sure.
When you were looking at it, could you tell approximately how big it was?
Do I have any estimate on this? Like, I guess I don't even know what I saw, like if it's a tentacle or if it was its main body or anything, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because you didn't get a good look at its like entire physicality. So again, yeah, it's difficult to say whether that was like a tentacle or its back or its neck, like something like that. But you would have to estimate that if we were using the Dungeons & Dragons creature size scale, this would very well qualify as gargantuan.
Well, I'm not entirely sure, Wade. I don't know if I saw its main mass or it's one of its limbs. The amount of water it's moving made me think it was the tide. So I think we're dealing with something incredibly large. Something that would make Alvatinde look like a halfling.
Cam is just trying to picture what Alvatinde looks at Annette like.
Not a bad metaphor, if I'm being honest.
Well, that gives us something to go off of.
This is exactly why I've been trying to hone my skills to target vital points. I could come in there with a great sword and not cut deep enough to do any real damage to this thing, if I can even get through its hide, whatever it may be. Whenever
Do you need a
I
greater
come
sword?
up against... Whenever I come up against it, I need to find a place where I can hurt it. Focus there. Everything has vital spots.
It would help. I mean, for certainly cutting down the list of creatures that it could be by knowing its approximate size.
Yeah. My people fear one creature above all else, and I'm growing concerned that that might be what it is. Though the fact that it's connected with Fort Oss and all this darkness means even if it is one of those, maybe it's manipulated, corrupted by all this far realm.
That would be very not good for any of us.
Have you mentioned this creature to us before?
The one in the Narrows or the one that his people fear?
Your people fear.
No, I've never brought it up before.
What your people, what do you think it might be?
Well, my concern would be that it would be the Kraken. It is a massive creature of indescribable destructive force.
Do you know if that's from this plane?
From our plane?
Yes.
Not initially. It came from the elemental plane of water, just like my people did.
So it's not like connected to the far realm in any way.
No, there are terrifying creatures from the far realm that take up aquatic activities as well, and they can be almost as terrifying.
So in would it be like folklore of your people as far as their knowledge of the Kraken?
It's sort of word of mouth stories been passed along. They say that there were entire underwater metropolises that were destroyed just by the very act of breeding by the Kraken.
Is there like any indication that the Kraken is like capable of what we've been seeing? Like, is it capable of manipulating armies or?
No, not to my knowledge. It's not a creature that is known for controlling or manipulating. Its sheer power is what makes it so dangerous.
So just make a general intelligence test for me, Shanks.
Sure. Ooh, nope. That's gonna
Okay.
be 5.
Cool. As you are.
Whoops.
Okay, would Wade have any knowledge of Kraken?
Yeah. It'll be a little bit more difficult, but yeah, you can do the history to see if you picked up anything.
History 23.
Largely validates you've read what little you've read on these creatures. Largely validates what Learas is telling you right now. From what you read, they also have some limited ability to control the weather, and let me see. Yeah, let's say that's what you get with that on a Kraken. Oh no! Also, one other thing, Learas, and you would know this, Learas, as well. Part of the folklore that was, or the stories that were passed down, is that some aquatic creatures, like simple beasts like fish and things like that, can be charmed and come under the control of a Kraken. You're absolutely correct to say not controlling armies and things like that.
Right. I mean, there are stories of it controlling the local wildlife in the oceans, but nothing like this. I think it's a pawn. I think it's a creature that has succumbed to the control of something.
I don't think the Kraken is the main concern then. And if there's...
It's not your main concern, but it is mine.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to say is, like, is the Kraken known? Like, how long has this been going on? The Narrows whole issue?
50 years or so? Something like
In the
that?
better part of 50 years, yeah.
Would I assume that a Kraken's lifespan is just really... I don't know. I guess I have no assumption of a Kraken's lifespan.
I will say you would know that a lot of extraplanar creatures don't tend to follow the same rules of aging that things from the material plane do.
So would I gather that this... No, I don't know. If the Kraken was for some reason like charmed by another to take up spot, to take, like, one would assume probably to defend Fort Oss or to attack others in the area, right? Like, if we target that individual first, perhaps a Kraken would go return to its natural habitat, which one might assume would not be the Narrows.
Correct.
If it has not been there for however long it's been around. How do you know approximately how long your people have been talking about the Kraken?
Forever. We come from the elemental plane of water. We've always been respectfully in awe of and complete enemies of the Kraken.
Maybe we just need to banish it.
No. It has to die.
No?
So,
Okay.
you intend to defeat the Kraken?
If that's what's in the Narrows, yes. It's not impossible. We have stories of heroes from millennia ago.
Well, I wouldn't want you to do that alone.
I wouldn't want to do
That's-
it alone either.
Well, that's good. I was hoping you wouldn't be like, oh no, I have to do this all on my own for honor or something.
I do have to face it for my honor. If I don't, then I'm just accepting that evil has won and my family is not fit to protect this bay.
Are Krakens evil, or are they just like, they're big and they just cause trouble? Would that be
Yeah.
like an...
In all the millennia that my people have been trying to survive against the wrath of the Krakens, we've never once received an answer from them as to whether or not they consider themselves evil.
If you... Don't... So do you want to like fight the Kraken first, or fight the people controlling the Kraken?
I'm not saying that it is the first thing we must do. I know that even now, as strong as I've become, if it is indeed a Kraken in those Narrows, I'm no match for it still.
I don't think we could do more than tickle the thing.
Well, I'd like to think
Yeah.
at least get a couple of its eyes before I went down fighting, but I need to keep training. We need to keep fighting this war, and we need to figure out what's going on. And I haven't lost sight of that, I assure you. But when you say it's not a priority, and I say that it is my top priority, I want you to understand that it is the most important thing to me. But I'm not an idiot. I have no intention of throwing my life away.
It's a long-term goal.
For when we're ready, when we know more, when we know exactly what we're dealing with, we know how it was brought here. How big a shame would it be if we were to actually face the Kraken and somehow miraculously come out triumphant just for another one to be summoned the next day?
Are there more, like...
There is more than
like-
one. We refer to it as the Kraken only because it is the epitome of destruction. It is the pinnacle of nature's fury. But we know that they breed. They are a natural creature. As I said, cities have been destroyed entirely just by them breeding.
I hope you know that your goals are important to me, Learas.
I am grateful to hear that. It's been a long time since anyone heard my goal and didn't immediately laugh at it.
I I'm just very thankful, I think, for both this little group that we've managed to rally together. I once thought that I would probably be alone forever, and now I get to wake up every day to very close friends.
I couldn't agree more. I actually struggled a little bit when we first began traveling together. I like to do things my way. I guess I became a little inflexible in my way of thinking. But I've learned that I can rely on both of you, and I'm grateful for that.
I used to think that, the only thing that really mattered to me was learning more about this whole necromancy thing, and that Flynn was the worst person imaginable, but like experiencing all this stuff, with everybody really, really opens your eyes and sort of, helps you understand that there are a lot more problems than just what's, than what my little world was used to revolve around.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Speaking of Flynn and all of that, I think we owe Jacob a visit. Perhaps it's time we head back to Crystal Harbor.
Before, one last thing regarding the Kraken. Given the nature of the creatures that we've been fighting, I don't want to forget the possibility that perhaps the Kraken has been mutated as well.
Yes, that's something that's on my mind as well. Which might make it even more deadly, even more impossible, but that changes nothing for me.
I was just gonna say, I don't think that's going to stop us, at least from trying. I don't think I can. I don't think I could forgive myself if I didn't pursue this after all we've learned.
We could bring peace back to the Bay, prosperity, better lives for everyone.
Get to see some new faces too.
Yes, I've got an entire family out there in the Illumis Inlet, and I haven't seen them in, well, a long time.
I think that would be really great if you could. I don't really have family, so, well, I mean, I guess I do, but it's very complicated at this point.
Well, I've grown very fond of you. I'd like to keep you around.
Well, we better get stronger then.
It'll never see us coming.
Well, it might see me, but it might provide a distraction for you in the process.
I more meant it won't know what to expect from us.
Oh, I see. It was one of those sayings. Okay.
But speaking of Crystal Harbor, I'd like to turn my attention on the city briefly, just to make sure it's not on fire, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you focus in and induce the lens to turn, it sweeps across the, I guess it's the eastern Depends
goes
on where
from
you're
east
standing,
to
whether
west.
it's east or west. It depends on where you're standing, whether it's the eastern or western. But from your perspective, but it sweeps across the coast, and you can even see making out the some of the mountains, and you can even as it's panning across, you can make out some broad details of Sten's Gap and the shifting wood as it settles on to Crystal Harbor. And immediately you can see that the city is not ablaze, so that's good.
Well, it's not on fire.
Yeah, is there anything in particular you're looking for?
No, just want to make sure that everything's okay. That I don't think we need to rush back.
Get the hiccups.
Oof.
Yeah, so nothing immediately jumps out as out of place. You know, Crystal Harbor is a lot closer than anything else that you've looked at. It's only about 25 miles away. You can kind of see a little bit of it from with the naked eye up here. So with all this magnification, it's no problem. You can see the tree growing out of where Broxels used to be. You know, you can see brilliant baubles there down by the old wharf, still intact. You can see Flynn's tower on the north side of the River Diaspor, still in one piece.
Mm.
So, if anything has gone on while you've been gone, they've been able to manage it without you.
Well, everything looks well, and we're not in any particular rush. But we should head back down, unless we do think there's something else magical hidden within this tower.
Can I give it one investigation? I was identifying while they were doing that.
Absolutely. And Shanks, just give me one more perception check while you're sort of panning over to Crystal Harbor.
Oh, okay. Is this with advantage or? It won't matter.
Yeah.
It's a 26.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you pause for a moment. It's almost reflexive. It takes you a second to register that you can see there is something moving under the waves about 20 or 30 miles northeast of where you currently are. It is moving pretty fast, and it is moving in the general direction of Harbor Watch.
Oh, there's something big headed this way, actually.
Oh, I wonder if it's that thing that I saw on the way here.
It very
Oh,
well
Wade
could
saw
be.
that. I don't remember now, but he did tell me about it. If he did.
It looks like some sort of creature. It is much longer than it is wide.
I don't know. It's something long and narrow.
It's going towards Harbor Watch.
Yes, it's coming this way from the Narrows, I think.
That general direction.
Should we head back there then?
I mean, I think all we need to do is head down. But this will be the first point of contact of the land.
Okay. Well, I imagine Wade's like
Someone
looking
making a
around.
stealth check behind Wade.
Right.
Fading in and out of existence.
Is it dimly lit in here?
Yeah, I'll say for the purposes of your cleric ability, this counts as dim light.
All right.
Maybe
think-
not in the lens room itself with all the glass, but
But when I'm going down.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think Cam, once they're like descending down, is just like, well, does one of you want a lift?
Give him a lift. As much as I enjoy the process, I think he needs it.
Gold wings just like sprout out from her back that are kind of like shimmery and ethereal, and you see that there's now some like silveryness at the edges of them, and she's just going to kind of uppies to Wade. Like, come on. And yeah, just kind of gently fly down to the bottom.
Yeah, much easier descent.
Yeah, I
And
assume the
way
jumps down for me are completely
Yeah.
hand weave.
Parkour.
Yeah, you got gravity working, no problem.
Yeah, so we head back down out of the tower, and I guess just move like towards the coast to see this thing incoming.
All right. I'll say based on kind of a rough estimate of how quickly it was moving and approximately where you saw it, you're looking at maybe 6 to 8 hours till it gets here. If this is where it's going.
I can set up a dome if we'd like to just.
As much as I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to sleep as well as on previous nights, but
Yeah, it's still kind of the like mid-afternoon.
I don't know. Is there anything else? I don't know. Maybe a rest would be for the best, though.
I think I can kind of make it a little bit darker if that's a problem.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, she can do that. She can make it dark inside there. So if we want to have a midday nap.
Yeah, we're having a late afternoon siesta before we fight whatever this
Yeah.
massive thing is incoming.
She'll get to work putting up her dome.
All right. Just inside like the base of the lighthouse or someplace else.
Outside where we could keep an eye on it, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best bet. Where we've got the best kind of perspective of the water.
Yeah, and I'll say to Learas, if you want to get at any point during the next 6 to 8 hours, if you want to pop back up to the top of the lighthouse and use the lens again to try and keep an eye on it, that is an option. You won't be able to long rest during that, if that's what you're doing, but it is an option.
Okay. Well, unless it changes course, I'm just going to try to get a long rest.
Yeah, wouldn't say there would not be a good way to know if it changed course without watching it.
Okay, so we can't see it at all from here.
You could barely see it even with the telescope.
All right, I'm gonna give up the long rest then and go back up and take a look when it's, I don't know, like my watch. I'm gonna just kind of prepare myself and do what I have to do. I'll take the benefits of a short rest and actually try to fill up my hit points.
Right, if you are only going to be doing it for like 2 hours during the equivalent of what would be like a watch, we can still do that, and you can still get the long rest. But there, will be 4 to 6 hours of its travel that you won't see. Might make it harder to find.
That's fair. All right. Well, I'm gonna wait with them for, let's say, 4 hours ish, and then I will make the journey up to see if I can spot it, and then make a decision from there, I guess, if I'm going to try to finish a long rest or not.
Sounds good. And I think it's about 5 minutes till our normal end time. That seems like a great place to leave it for this week.